So now we are at the Ukraine Reconstruction Summit, and today we are talking about the future of Ukraine, how to rebuild Ukraine, about the partnerships, because here we can see people from United States, from Poland, and from Ukraine. And that's a very good partnership. It's a very good sign and very good to show the example of cooperation. So what can you say probably to organizers of this event? How is it?
I'm very impressed, mainly by the fact that it's organized by private companies, because there is a limit to how much governments can do. But private companies here in the US and Ukraine and Poland can really make a difference, can move much faster. And the whole situation in Ukraine is happening so fast. I mean, today we have a war, we've had this war now for almost 3 years. But I really honestly believe that there is going to be peace soon. And it can happen very quickly, and then there is going to be need to really get resources to help rebuild, and rebuild better than it was. I was born in Ukraine and came some 40 years ago after high school. And from what I remember, we lived in a communal apartment, and we had 8 families sharing 2 bathrooms and 2 kitchens. And I know that that housing still exists there. So it's not just rebuilding what was there before, but building something new that's green, that's beautiful. I mean, Ukrainian people are smart and beautiful, and the country is beautiful. So we really need to rethink how this country can be rebuilt, because I really believe long term it can be the center of innovation. And anyway, it's exciting time. The organizers did a great job. I mean, just to bring the very high quality speakers from all aspects, so many people from Ukraine. What hurts me is to see some of these young guys without limbs because they were fighting in the war. That brings it all together. That adds energy to somebody like me, who's been a little bit kind of reluctant to do much because of the war. But now I'm really thinking, after seeing this and hearing, now I say, what can we do? Not only to rebuild, but also to think how we can win the war. How can I contribute to winning the war? So we developed 3D printing technology. We use it for large homes, but the reality is we can print anything. So really exploring ways to help.
How would you like to see this future for Ukraine?
I really think that in terms of housing, it needs to be well designed, well insulated so that people don't waste money on energy, and sustainable. And what I mean by sustainable, we use recycled materials. There is so many materials, from plastics to all kind of everything else, that is already available. So if we're going to think that we can rebuild the old way, where it takes very long time, very little automation, very expensive, it's just not going to happen. The extent of damage in Ukraine is some $1 trillion. You're not going to, if you just try to rebuild using the old-fashioned technology and materials, construction is the 3rd worst polluter, only after oil and gas and autos. Why? Because production of cement, a lot of the buildings in Ukraine have been built with cement, that generates CO2. Air conditioning generates Freon. So we really need to think how to do it totally different. And quite honestly, when you have that level of destruction, you can now say, we're not going to do it the old-fashioned way. It's the same thing that's happening in Los Angeles. So that's where I live now. We've lost 16,000 homes in fires 8 months ago. And again, if we're just thinking we're going to throw all the contractors to build the same way. Look, construction hasn't changed in 100 years. 100 years ago, compared to auto industry. 100 years ago, we had a horse and a buggy, and today we have EV vehicles. Construction 100 years ago, we had a carpenter with a hammer and nail, and today we have the same thing. That's wrong. So it's the only industry that really hasn't changed.
Do you have any message to Ukrainian people, to Americans, anything important you would like to say?
Sure. Message to Ukrainians is I'm just amazed at the bravery and resilience, and everybody in this country just respects Ukrainians for what they've been able to accomplish. Message to Americans: I think Americans just forgot that the United States is the peacemaker Look, when there was World War II, the war started in 1939. It went on for 5 years. 40 million people died. United States got involved in 1944. The war was over in 1945. And I really think it's the same parallel now. This war has been going on way too long. And if we think that it's just going to go away, or Putin is just going to become a nice guy and going to make a difference, I just don't believe that's going to happen. So United States has to think, how can we get really involved and stop this murderer from killing people? And then once that happens, then the United States is very good at rebuilding things. Look, Europe got rebuilt, Japan got rebuilt. So the same energy needs to go to make Ukraine a beautiful place.